Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about Lolita skirts, specifically patterning skirt gores. But to start off with, I wanted to talk a little bit about the different shapes that you get out of Lolita skirts, depending on what the skirt shape is. So first we have the rectangle skirt, which is what everyone does first, because you just cut it the length it needs to be, and then you put gathering stitches along the top and slap in the waistband. And with this kind of skirt, the amount of fullness going into the waist and the hem is the same. So this is where you get that really big puffy cupcake shape because you have, say, 100 inches in the skirt and that's also in your waist. So it's really full. So this is like a very traditional basic shape. And then you move into shaped gores, which look like this. And this allows you to control how much fullness is going in the waist and the hem. So it doesn't have to be the same, but you can accomplish still fullness in both. And with that you get a little bit, you can have lots of fullness. You can also have a more subdued fullness, but still lots of fullness in the bottom. And yes, and the last shape is a circle skirt. And so this is pretty much a bunch of gores stuck together. But it's kind of used a lot, so it's just circle skirt gores. And that's where you have generally no fullness at the waist, so it's your waist, but then lots of fullness at the hem. And so to accomplish that, it's pretty much just this half circle shape, and then you get kind of like the bunch of fullness at the bottom, but it's, very, sticks out a lot because of the kind of shape it is. And traditionally that's like, if you've ever seen 50s poodle skirts, they're all circle skirts. So, those are different shapes you can get, but today we're going to be talking about this one, the skirt gores. So, this is what a skirt gore pattern looks like, and I'm going to go into detail talking about these different things, and then we'll come back to this sheet. So, just for a little overview. And here is a realized skirt gore. Side note, I like to pattern on brown paper, packaging paper, because it's really sturdy so it doesn't rip as easily, and it's very easy to store, and it's extremely cheap, and it's big. So you can get this at like the dollar store for $1 and you'll get like this giant roll. It's amazing. So, ta-da! And this skirt has about, I want to say 40 inches in the waist. I cut 4 of these, and then it has 120 inches in the hem. And so it was going off of this design for my Christmas dress, and I just finished the skirt and I was balancing the hem on my form, and it pretty much looks just like this. So you have, fullness in the waist, but then a lot of fullness at the bottom. So that's the kind of skirt that we're going to be looking at today. So to start off with measurements and math, da-da-da! So everyone knows their waist measurement, it's a thing we know, but you want to figure out how much fullness you want going into your waist. You want 2 times fullness, 3 times fullness, no fullness, just a little fullness. So you're going to want to figure out that measurement. And then you're going to want to figure out how much you want in a hem. I would suggest at least 100 plus inches in the hem. Sometimes I will put 90 inches in a hem if I have 45 wide fabric and I only want to cut 2 gores. Then I'll just make that extend all the way out to the 45 and just cut 2, and then I'll just have 90 inches, and that is not a very full skirt. It'll fit over a petticoat though. So figure out how much waist fullness you want, how much you want in the hem, and then you're going to want to know the length. So from your waist to the hem of the skirt, how long you want that to be are the measurements you need to know to pattern. Next you're going to want to do a little bit of math. Math is very important if you're sewing. You're going to want to divide these 2 numbers. I mean, this number you can, but it's not as important. But these 2 numbers, the waist fullness and the hem, divide by the number of gores you're going to have. And the number of gores depends a lot on the difference between the fullness in the waist and the hem and how wide your fabric is. If your fabric is 60 wide, then you might be able to do less gores than if it's 45. But also if you have, say, only 1.5 times fullness in the waist, so say there's like 35-40 inches in the waist, but you have 150 inches in the hem, you're going to want to have more gores, because if you have only 3 gores, the angle of that I didn't draw a picture of this, but the angle of that is going to look like this. So you're going to have very little up here and then a lot up here, and this is going to be extreme on the bias of the fabric, and that is going to cause it to stretch more down, and it will not look as great. So a lot of times you can do smaller gores and then not get as much on that bias and be able to maintain the shape a little better. And at this point, if you're doing something like this, you're probably going to want to think about just doing circle skirt. So things to consider. So figure out how many gores you want to have. For the example today, I'm going to be doing 3 gores. I personally do not like having seams run down the center of my skirt, so you're going to want to think about where the opening of your skirt is going to be, unless it's, you know, an elastic waistband or whatever sheared back in the dress. So like in this dress, it opened down the front, and so I know there's going to be a seam there, so I figured, you know, I want 4 gores. That would be fine because I don't mind have a seam down straight the back, and it can open in the front, so that's fine. On my birthday dress, I chose to have 3 gores because there was an opening on the side, and it lined up really good with where I wanted my fullness to go, where I wanted my seams to go. So that's the kind of stuff you want to think about as well when you're thinking about gores. And then, so you're going to want to figure out fullness and hem divided by number of gores, so however many gores, and then you're going to divide that number by 2. Divide that number by 2. And that is the measurements you will use to make your skirt. So, this is what the pattern looks like. Why we divide it by 2 is so that we can cut it on a fold. Makes it a lot quicker for cutting, for tracing lines, things of that nature. This measurement up here is the waist fullness. Then you have the length is both these, and then down here is the hem. So this is what the piece will look like, and you can see it's very much similar to the piece I have here. So, for our example today, I chose to have a full waist of 7 with fullness of 15 because we're doing it on tiny paper, and a hem of 30 is the mini skirt example that we're going for. So then the number of gores I'm going to have is 3, and so if I do my math with that, my waist divided by 3 is 5, and the hem is 10, divided by 2 is 2.5 and 5. So those are the measurements we're going off of for our gore today. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I know it's very, very small. Maybe there's a way I can zoom it in some or something, but I'll also be talking a lot about what I'm doing as I do it so that you can get a better idea of what's going on. So, first thing I'm going to do is say I'm going to draw a line that is the length of my skirt, which I didn't write down. We're going to say it's 4. Well, let's go with 6. We're going to say the length of our skirt is 6. So that's the first line you're going to draw on your paper. There is a line that is 6 that you might not be able to see. I'll hold it. So now I'm going to start at the waist, which is 2.5. So I'm going to draw a line that goes straight out like this from the waist, squaring off from there, like this. And then I'm going to draw a line down here for the hem, which is 5. I'm going to square off there as well. So right now we have this. So we have the length, hem, waist. So now, because the body is curved, if you put a straight line on it, it's not going to look as good as if you curve that line a little bit to go around the waist. So normally you're going to raise this anywhere between 1/2 inch to 1 inch, depending on how many gores you have. We're going to pretend that we're raising it 1 inch, but I'm only going to do 1/2 inch here. You're just going to draw a little line towards the end, like this, and then you're just going to curve up to that line from your fold. Wow, that's like really big, but we'll use it. That's a really big curve, but like that. So then, down here, off of where your hem is, you're just going to draw a line straight up from there. That way you can get a good visual as to where that hem measurement is. So we have the curve and the hem. And then we're just going to use the ruler to figure out what the angle is from the top of the curve down to this line to get the same length measurement as here. So I found it here. Just draw a line down. just drew this line connecting from here down to here, and then I'm just going to right angle from there and curve back down to this line. And then I'm going to draw some things for myself to know that I want to cut this on the fold. It's always good to write that to remind yourself. To know I want, say, 2 inches at the hem, I want 1 inch at the side, 1 inch at the waist. I always like to write these things down so that you can double check yourself when you go to cut it out. And also a thing I like to do when I'm patterning, which I'll talk more about when I finally do my sloper patterning video, is I like to write on it the date when I made this pattern and what dress it was for. So that way if I lose this pattern, so that I wrote, I patterned this on this day and this is what I patterned it for, that way if, I have a bunch of skirt patterns, I know which one I'm working from this time. And also if I finish this dress and I keep this pattern and I am looking through things I've made and I'm like, oh, I really like that skirt, I'd like to make that skirt shape again, I can go and find this pattern and know that it's going to give me the exact same shape. Oh, another good thing to write down there is how many you're going to cut, how many gores. So cut 3. So this is what your pattern should look like when you're finished. And then you just go and cut it out and put it together like a skirt. You can add pockets to it, put it on a dress, whatever you're going to do with that. So that is how to pattern skirt gores. If you have any questions, be sure to just post it in the comments below, or message me on LiveJournal at Sweetie Pie Lolly. Or also, if you have any questions, you can also post on the So-Lolly community on LiveJournal. So good luck with your skirt patterning and your gores and stuff. If you have any questions or other things that you would like me to post videos about, like if you want to know how to put pockets into a skirt, how to do shearing, how to balance a hem, anything like that. I am planning on making a video on how to pattern your own sloper, possibly this weekend, so be looking forward to that, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye!